Welcome to Farmers to Florists, the podcast serving the floral industry from seed to centerpiece. I'm Dr. Liz Fiedler Mergen, flower farmer, wedding florist, and owner of Sunny Mary Meadow, a flower farm and event venue I built in central Minnesota. This podcast makes local flowers easier to grow, easier to design with, and easier to sell. Each week, we'll talk about crop planning, recipe building, wholesale relationships, data-driven decisions, and how to build a floral business that doesn't burn you out. Yes, this podcast is a companion guide to Farmers to Florists platform at farmerstoflorist.com. But whether you use the tool or not, every episode is designed to give you practical systems and real insight you can apply immediately. If you believe the floral industry should be thriving, not scrambling, you're in the right place. Let's grow smarter. Welcome back to Farmers to Florists. Today, we're going to talk about something very practical that's needed, and that's communication. Because most farmer florist breakdowns don't happen because the flowers weren't beautiful. It's probably because expectations weren't clear. If you are a farmer and you've ever told a florist that it should be ready, or it looks good right now, or I'll know closer to this date, you're not wrong, you're being honest. But from the florist perspective, those words create uncertainty. And uncertainty requires them to have a backup plan. And they're promising that certainty to their clients, and so they need clarity from you, not perfection. They need clarity. If you ever took a speech class in high school or college, you know that there are 3 stages of communication: projected, confirmed, and delivered. What the heck does that mean? So projected communication is the early communication. This is what I expect to happen. This is what I should have during this window. And this is all helpful for planning as long as it's clearly labeled as projected and not guaranteed. So you're letting them know this is what I'm projecting to have. And then confirmed. This is going to be closer to the event. You're confirming what you have. This is what is actually ready. This is the stem length. This is the color. This is exactly what it is. And florists can lock in those recipes. And then delivered. So this is operational clarity. The pickup time, the hydration, the labeling, the substitutions if needed. That is where you wrap up the final ends of the communication. Another big piece to communication is going to be the expectations of response times. And I encourage you to do this, whether it's a farmer, a florist, someone else, any sort of customer. Give them that typical response time. And if you typically respond within 24 hours, say that. If you only check messages in the morning, say that. If you're only checking it 3 times a week, say that. Boundaries are not unprofessional, but your silence can be. You do not have to be available 24/7, but you do have to be predictable. I've sold to about a half dozen florists on a pretty regular basis over the last couple years. And one thing that I know that I need to work more on is creating a rhythm. I am someone who thrives on routine, but instead of random updates, let them know. Say, hey, typically inventory is sent on Mondays. Your order deadline is Wednesday and pickup is going to be Friday. Delivery is Thursday. When florists know your rhythm, they can build around that. And that predictability builds confidence, and that confidence will build loyalty. Here's the thing that florists will understand from time to time, because things do happen occasionally. And that's that the weather shifts, the crops fail, colors end up growing off tone, and the worst thing that you can do is wait and hope that it goes away, because early notice is way better than a last minute apology. So florists can pivot, but only if they're prepared to pivot. And they do that by you letting them know that they need to pivot. But the next thing I want to talk about is overselling. When you're excited about a crop, it's tempting to promise big. But here's the rule. Under-promise and over-deliver. It's better to say that you'll have limited quantities of something and then surprise them when it gets closer, rather than to say that, oh yeah, we should have plenty, and then run short. Because that trust compounds slowly over time, and it will disappear quickly. So trust takes a long time to gain and a short time to lose. The thing that's going to elevate local flowers from being charming to reliable is clear availability, clear pricing, and clear timelines. And reliable is what makes the florists want to reorder. So ask yourself, just a little quick check here at the end. If I were designing a $10,000 wedding? Would I feel confident sourcing from myself? And if the answer is sort of, or I'm not sure, you start with that communication. Not more flowers, better systems. If you haven't done this already, head to our episode notes and download the free ebook. It is everything that you need to know to prepare to buy local flowers. It breaks down expectations from both sides. It gives you practical questions to ask before you start working together, and it's free. The link is in the show notes. I hope you're finding this helpful. And if you are looking for a little bit more help and you want to join the Farmers to Florists platform, join our free office hours Monday evenings or Thursday mornings and just pop in, say hi, take a look around, see if it's right for you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Farmers to Florists. If this episode gave you clarity or helped you think differently about local flowers, I'd love to have you join us. Visit farmerstoflorist.com to explore the platform or jump into live office hours. If you know a flower farmer or florist who's trying to make local easier, send this episode their way. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and LinkedIn for some reason. And you'll find direct links to everything in the show notes. Let's build stronger systems together, stronger relationships, and a stronger floral industry. Thank you.